right, good morning.
Good morning. Yeah.
It's good to see all your smiling faces today. How was breakfast?
Delicious.
All right, so all you guys at home watching from a distance, you missed out on breakfast. It was very, very good. So, yeah, there's the home audience right there. So we have, we ran out of topics basically sitting around the table and just talking. Got tired of looking at each other, so we thought we'd go kind of old school. If you haven't been to one of our sales meetings ever, which would have been last year, we basically come up one at a time as a broker and a lot of times and share some information. So we've got kind of a broker potpourri, but it's a little bit different than sitting around the table and doing it. So we're going to start off like we always do with Shelly Panzarella in Prosperity Lending. And we also want to give her a big hand because she and Prosperity Lending rock records.
All right.
Our cue here. Anybody know this song? Morning, everyone. Thank you, Ellie. Okay, I'm still learning how to DJ. So, happy Tuesday, everyone. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah.
All right, so today is a special day. Why? Because we're live, but it's also May the 4th be with you. So, do me a favor, take a look behind you and say May the 4th be with you to the person right behind you. Yay! All right. I don't know what's happening with our mic. I feel like you're okay. All right. So really weird to see you. Do I need to stay still here? All right. So I know that you guys have all seen us on or seen me on video. I just really wanted to take a moment to thank you all, one, for coming in. It's really exciting to see all your beautiful faces and all of your wonderful smiles. And also want to thank you guys because over the pandemic, we had one of our best partnerships with our agents in working with our Prosperity Lending Loan Officers. So I just want to acknowledge and thank you all. If you haven't had an opportunity to work with one of our Prosperity Lending Loan Officers, we have a list of our agents who are here. They're actually sitting on our counter over here. Jason Mavora is here. Myra, I think, actually had an appointment. Gabby is on vacation. Tony is usually the life of the party. He must have thought it went to the other location. He must be online on our virtual side. But Gabby brought us a cross-collateral program. Dr. Jason here brought us our physician program. Myra brought us our Home is Possible program. Tony brought us the VA program. Last week I spoke a little bit about the parent loan program. So we're doing so much to bring some new programs to you and obviously to our buyers. We are working on some new loans that little nervous to say this, but they're very similar to a stated type program. We have a investment only type program where we're just really using the rental income. So stay tuned for that. We will be presenting that along with all of the wonderful things that we have. But I really wanted to take a moment to introduce and reintroduce our team. Thank you guys. And then also let you know, how many of you know that we offer a lender credit to our clients? How many of your buyers would benefit from an additional $1,000? How many of you would love it so that your transaction fee would be paid for by that lender credit? Yeah, so it's a $1,000 lender credit. We are going to roll that out all the way. Laura's looking at me like, what? Okay, it's here. So $1,000 lender credit, we're going to roll it out through all new contracts through the end of June. So Q2, we want to make sure that we close out Q2 strong. We get into Q3. If you have any questions, whether it's regarding rates, whether it's regarding programs, whether it's regarding our lender credit, whether it's regarding mortgage or marketing and mortgages, please feel free to reach out to one of your Prosperity Lending Loan Officers. That's all I got.
That's it.
May the 4th be with you all.
All right, she's back by popular demand, Janet Stuff.
So excited to see all of you. Wow, this is wonderful. So I just have stuff. None of it all goes together. It's stuff. First of all, if you're under 40, the selection committee or the application for top agents under 40 has been extended to May 7th. Now, I've served on that committee more than once, and I will tell you what that means is there's a lack of applications. So, if you're under 40, you had a decent year, you contributed to RPAC, and you volunteer in the community, please turn your application in to LVR.
When are applications due?
May 7th.
3 days.
How long does it take?
3 days.
Okay, next thing I want to tell you, Tom and I are both on the MLS committee. Oh, yes.
Do you need a year on a committee to meet before that?
Oh, I forgot about that part. Yeah, you really need to have served a year on a committee.
And what is a year to have done it?
Yeah, because all you had to do was probably attend 2 online meetings if you were on a committee. So you do have to be on a committee. Okay, so Tom and I are both on the MLS committee, although all he does is harass that committee and never pays attention. But I have some stuff for you from the MLS committee. First of all, under contract, no show. That's exactly what it means. No show. And in the MLS rules and regs, if you show a property that is in UCNS status, automatic $250 fine. So don't be doing that. We've had a lot of issues with that. Next thing, if you were like me and you were raised on area maps, area 103 is off Craig Road, area 502 is the lakes, they're going away. Going away effective October 1st. So, if you don't know how to draw an area on the map on MLS, they're going to be offering classes, but you better get used to it because October 1st they're gone. They are gone. So, next thing from MLS, as of March 31st, Las Vegas Realtors had 15,695 realtors. And you can figure out with the number of properties on the market what that means. Okay, next thing, Realist. How many of you use Realist? We had a number of classes on it before it shut down. I guess we need to do more. But there's a new feature added to Realist called Sell Score. So what it does is it rates the properties and who is most likely to sell in the next 6 months. I've got to do something really gross. I haven't worn heels in a year and a half. It's killing me. Sorry. Okay. So all you have to do. Okay, news from NVR. I had somebody ask me this yesterday. How do you properly reject an offer? And the attorney from NVR, Crystal Keegan, says, if you send a quick email that says, my client accepted another offer, no, that's not good enough. So what she says is, NAC 645.632 requires a written rejection signed by the seller and the licensee and is delivered to the other side. Question is, what if the seller just checks the last page and signs? Not good enough. Your seller needs to initial every page so that the buyer knows his offer has been presented. So, NAR. So I'm on the NAR Professional Standards Committee, and we had our committee meeting yesterday, and the new 10-5 of the Code of Ethics, the Professional Standards Committee is very serious about this, which does not allow hate speech or slurs even in private life and on social media. So to violate the Code of Ethics, you really need to have someone who's involved in a transaction to file a complaint, but not with NAR 10-.5. It does not allow hate speech on the basis of race. Get this one. Political affiliation. So I can't say you are such a horrible person because you belong to the purple party. You can't do that. You can't say bad speech against protesters. Even if you disagree with what they are protesting on, you cannot badmouth it. And the last one is based on religious doctrine. So there was a minister who was a realtor, and he, from the bloody pulpit, said hate speech about gays and lesbians. There was a realtor sitting in the audience, and she filed a complaint against him, and he was in big trouble, even though it was part of his religious doctrine. So please be aware of that. And the last thing I have, we're having our annual Cinco de Mayo party, which we skipped a year last year. It's tomorrow, Cinco de Mayo at Summerlin. You're all invited. We're having a taco truck, thanks to Shelly and Prosperity Lending. I'm making my famous bag margaritas. We're having a guacamole and salsa contest with prizes, starts at 4 o'clock. If you want to come, you must, if you want to eat, RSVP with Bobby by 2 o'clock today. Bob, B-O-B-B-I at signatureenvy.com by 2 o'clock today. And that's all I have, so now I'll put my shoes back on.
Thank you, Janet. You can also contact Bobby through the Signature app, right? Who has not downloaded the app yet? Liar.
Shame on you.
You haven't yet? And did you get your invite?
No.
Okay, so everybody at this point should have gotten an invite if you're an agent with Signature. And so all you have to do is go to your email box and do a search for Signature Real Estate mobile app. And it should come up your invite to set up your account and download it. If not, then let me know or let one of the staff members know, and we'll resend that invite so that we can get you up and on that. It's a great way and an easy way to communicate with the staff and each other. And as you guys get used to using it, then we'll do some classes and show you how you can utilize this with your clients as well to make your transactions easier. But did you know that you can actually get digital signatures done through our app? And so a really easy way to get your commission disbursements signed or your commission authorizations is to just drop them in the app. It's so much easier for us brokers to sign them in there than to have to log into AuthentiSign, wait for that to load, go to the thing, sign it, accept all that. So just piece of advice that could help you get those things signed quicker when dealing with our staff. So we've got a few more brokers coming up, and we're going to make Tom sit there and sweat just a little bit longer because he's a little worried. This is his first live meeting. So we're going to bring Vaughn up with the legislative update.
Everybody knows the drill, right? What? What? I know. Higher. Higher.
I'm out of practice.
Out of practice. All right, guys. Who's ready for some legislative update stuff? Janet almost stole my thunder. I totally thought she was about to get into it. So let's talk about some of the bills that I think are important for us to chat about. The first one is AB 398. Who knows what that's about? By number? Yeah, me neither. But what it does talk about is the SRPD. So many years we've been telling you guys that you're not allowed to fill out the SRPD for your clients, right? Guess what? It's about to be law. So in the actual bill, it's going to say a seller's agent shall not complete a disclosure form regarding the residential property on behalf of the seller. It's actually going to be against the law to do it. Even though we've been telling you never to do it because it's a liability issue, now it's going to be against the law. So prepare for that. Make sure you tell your clients. Where can you find that? AB 398 is the number. So if you want to reference it to your clients, if they're like, hey, you just fill this out, be like, I can't, it's against the law. Cool. Yes?
Can we correct it?
No, that's filling it out.
Question.
Yes.
This is actually a comment for the Forms Committee, maybe I should address it. It's really hard to fill that out, especially elderly people with following the line due to the no-nay. It's difficult, and here I am just as blind, and I'm going, I think it's
So-
that, you're helping them, but
It's already a 4-page document.
I know it does.
If it's any bigger, it'll be 6 to 7 pages. That's
It's just really
first.
hard.
Secondly, it's not a Forms Committee form. It is a
It's a
form
state.
by the state. So the state creates that form, they edit that form, they're the ones that are in charge of that form. At the association and the forms committee and through the legislative process, we can actually make requests for edits to that form, which is what we did for solar as well as for the easement, the water easement, but they're the ones in charge of that, so they create that form. The other thing that I want to talk about on the SRPD while I'm up here and I've got the mic. I have 5 minutes, right, Shelly? Just kidding, I got 20. So one of the things I want to talk about on the SRPD, thank you for bringing it up, Daryl, is that you're not allowed to change that document for your clients. Let's say you get it back and it's missing a checkbox. You can't go in and check that for them. You got to ask them to do it, right? I know it sounds kind of silly to send it back for one checkbox, but they're the ones that truly need to fill that form out, okay? If you have questions about that, you can talk to any one of the brokers. We'll be happy to help you. And then, any other questions on SRPDs?
So what if they fill it out wrong and they check sewer, well, all of that, you've done it?
You're welcome to talk to them and tell them that, hey, look, my understanding is that there's sewer at the property and you checked septic or whatever, right? Well, because a well and sewer are not the same, but yes.
It shouldn't be the same.
They shouldn't be the same. If they are, you got bigger problems in that house. So what you would do is you just have a conversation with them, be like, I think you marked this incorrectly. Would you mind fixing it, right? And send it back. I know what you're going to ask me. I'm not calling on you. Yes? Huh?
No, my TC will tend to send out corrections through like DocuSign or DocuSign, so we can't do that either.
No, because then you're putting in the checkbox for your client. Yeah, you shouldn't be doing that. Your TC should not be doing that. Amy does not do that. If you have another TC, they should not be doing it. What?
You're gonna let me go?
Yes, go.
I just wanted to say that when you have this problem, the easiest way to get your client to participate in changing it is ask a question. Don't say, I'm not allowed that.
No, well, it's for the people.
Don't say that, hey, I think the sewer is wrong. You say, hey, could I ask a question? Do you have a septic system at your home? Because on here you check there's nothing wrong with it. So it's about asking them a question to make them think about what they should have put or not put. If you go back and say, hey, you don't have septic, you should check this box, that's you fixing the document for them. I understand that they penciled it in, but it could be argued that you may have helped them change something you shouldn't be doing. Just ask questions. Each item that's wrong, ask a question about it, get them to think about it, and then they'll fix it all by themselves.
And the best thing to remember about SRPDs, you guys, it is the seller's disclosure. It's what they know, right? They know that there is a septic and you know there's a sewer. It's what they know, right? You can ask the right questions, but you can't force them to fix it. Cool? Buyers can sign off on it, all that good stuff. Okay, so yesterday we had a massive conversation in the agent's signature page. Who pays attention to that? I don't either. But there was, just kidding, short-term rentals. There was a question about short-term rentals going away. It is not going away. It's actually the complete opposite, okay? Why are you laughing? Okay, so on short-term rentals, you guys, the bill is SB 363. And on that, there's quite a few things that they're going to be, that we are fixing on a state level. So right now for short-term rentals, they're different for the counties, for the for different thank you, for different municipalities. And so what they're doing is they're doing a statewide short-term rental type of situation. Okay, there's a few things that you should know is that it'll restrict the applicability of the bill to counties with a population over 700,000. That's currently Clark County, because we're over 700,000 people, right? It'll provide that existing short-term rentals approved by a local jurisdiction prior to the effective date of the bill are grandfathered in. I will tell you, that's a huge win for us. That's not what the bill originally said. That's a big win, okay? Changed the occupancy limits in the bill to 4 occupants for the first bedroom and 2 additional persons for each bedroom in excess of the first bedroom with a maximum of 16 people in a house. Again, a win, because that number was going to be a lot lower, okay? So we're fighting every single week to work with the sponsors of this bill to have things like this change, and those are all both big deals. Reduce the 3-night minimum stay to a 2-night minimum stay requirement and exclude owner-occupied properties. So if you live in a home and you want to rent out a property that's on your owner-occupied property, that's excluding. right? It's an exclusion, which means you can have more than the 3-night minimum stay. Less. Thank you, that's what I meant. Implement a distance separation. I said it and I was like, wait, that doesn't sound right. Implement a distance separation of 2,500 feet between the property line of a resort hotel and property line of a short-term rental that is a single-family residence. Not a problem. Reduce the distance separation requirement between short-term rentals from 1,000 feet to 500 feet, excluding residential units within a multifamily dwelling. Increase the maximum percentage of allowed short-term rentals in a multifamily dwelling from 10% to 25%, includes multifamily dwellings that are not owned or operated by a resort hotel, and provide that a short-term rental applicant can hold no more than 5 permits per entity. So that means they just create more entities, right? And they can buy more. Any questions on that, you're welcome to call me. You can see the bill in the Advocate. You can read the bill through clicking on the link. I'm happy to post it for you. Yes, sir?
You mentioned that it was a win for us.
Yeah.
Can you explain everybody what you mean by how did we win?
So the original bill, if you actually read the bill from when it first came out, from its conception, there was a lot of additional limitations. Now, this bill isn't perfect. It's not probably the final product. There may be some additional changes, but we are working really hard with the sponsors of the bill to have it amended. And every little thing, and when I say a win, so we might have asked for instance, a maximum of 30 people, and they had a maximum of 8. We settled at 16. Does that make sense? So not that we're splitting the difference or anything, but that's what I mean by a win, is that the bill is very, very, like when it first comes out, there's a lot of things that won't be acceptable to us as an industry. And then we on the lobbying side fight really hard to get changes made to that bill. So there are amendments, and then that's the win.
That's what I was getting at. Can you talk about how the bill we won?
Oh, that was like 3 years ago in a sales meeting, but I will do it again for you.
People weren't here for that.
You're correct. So did you have a question about the bill specifically before
But you can go down that path first. I was just going to ask if the municipalities can make it stricter than the states, or if the state can override all this.
So when you have so it's kind of like having a state law versus a federal law, right? Federal laws are always going to supersede what state laws are. Same thing with the ordinances. So the state law is going to be the one.
The state law is more restrictive.
Correct. Unless there's more restrictions. Kind of like what happened with the CDC declaration and the Nevada declaration,
So
right?
There's a possibility that Clark County doesn't change their ordinance at all, and you still can't have an ordinance. It's illegal, right? So
Correct.
They don't have to. It doesn't mean that we're going to have rentals in Clark County.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
That's what I knew.
And then what about HOAs? I mean, some HOAs prohibited, so what's going to take precedent?
So the HOAs are specific for the community, so they have their own CCNRs, and so when someone lives in that community, they agree to abide by the CCNRs that say no short-term rentals. So yes, there's several different things that you have to look at for short-term rentals, but they're not going away.
As long as it doesn't
Right?
violate the law. Right?
As long as it doesn't violate the law, correct. So going down the legislative process, so what happens is that somebody sponsors a bill, somebody writes a bill. So for instance, there's right now Canazaro Care. Anybody heard of that? It's the healthcare bill that's been being fought by a lot of people, including there's hospitals, doctors, health insurance providers. They're coming in with heavy opposition for that bill, and it'll provide health care for certain,
Healthcare for all.
Yeah, health care for all, and this will, now Tom can't run on that platform anymore because somebody else is doing it. Just kidding. So somebody sponsors a bill, right? You, for instance, Ellie says, hey, I don't like the way that this works, and so I'm going to ask somebody to sponsor a bill based off this information. I think one of the best examples was, do you remember in the RPA, there used to be language that said you could not, if you canceled per the CIC resale packet, that you had to do it per hand delivery or USPS, right? It was actually in law. that that's the way that you could cancel. And so there was Neil Schwartz, who was a commissioner, said, I think it's silly to do it that way. We should be able to amend that and cancel through an amendment to the contract, or an addendum to the contract. And so he found somebody to sponsor the bill. Somebody sponsored the bill. We carried it through the legislative session, and it was passed. And now, and just so you know, when it gets through the legislative session, we as a legislative team, so there's a legislative committee for the state association. That legislative committee says, yes, here are a few things that we're going to fight this coming session. And then it goes to the legislative management team, and I sit on both of those committees. So the legislative management team reviews bills every single legislative session. They happen every 2 years on odd number years. Am I running too much? Is that?
No, you're good. No,
Okay.
we're used to it. Go ahead.
So it runs every 2 years on odd number years. Yes, we had two last year, but they were special sessions because of COVID. But it's usually 2017, 2019, 2021, and then the next one will be 2023. And so during that legislative session, we review all of those bills and make sort of requests to our lobbying team to amend some of these bills and the language that's in them, so that we are constantly protecting homeownership rights. We're constantly protecting your bottom line for taxes, for instance. We're making sure that you don't get taxed. That happens almost every legislative session. And so it becomes really important that when we work with these folks who actually write the bills, that we've supported them in some way, because they've become realtor champions for us, and they know what our issues are, and they're willing to work with us. That's why your RPAC dollars, by the way, are so important. Did I cover it?
Almost.
Ugh.
I did want you to focus on RPAC. Explain to these people what RPAC is and how important they are. They're the ones that save their commission.
So I only have so much time, but yes, RPAC, there's going to be several, just so you guys know, there'll be several videos.
I'll donate my time to you, B. Go ahead.
No, Tom, I want you to have your full 10. So RPAC dollars help fight a lot of things. I think I did touch on it, but there will be several videos that come out. We've created like scripts and stuff. I don't want to bore everybody today, but there are definitely some videos that'll come out. Just watch those and you'll know. So that's basically legislative update. You want me to do a market update, right? Or no?
Yep.
Okay.
I'm ready.
Market update, you guys. In the last 7 days, we have 857 new listings that came on the market in the last 7 days. We have 1,290 homes that sold in the last 7 days. Remember that number, okay? 1,290 homes that sold. We have available 2,869 homes right now. That includes Las Vegas, Boulder, right? North Las Vegas, Henderson, all of it. So when you take that 2,869 of available homes and you divide it by the last 7 days worth of sold properties, which is 1,290, you get 2.22 weeks of inventory. As of today, within 30 minutes before I got on here, I quickly checked, and that's what we're looking at, 2.2 weeks of inventory, okay? That's not nearly enough, right? So if you're looking at new listings, 857, and we're selling 1,290, we don't have enough listings. So go out and get some listings. Now here's the secret. If you look at the expired, you've got 136 homes that expired. Are you guys getting more listings? Is that what's happening? Nice. So if you look at the expireds, we have 136 homes that expired in the last 7 days. These are people who had their homes on the market that were looking to sell but couldn't for whatever reason. Maybe they didn't have the right realtor tell them the right information on how to sell their home in this marketplace, right? Maybe they overpriced. Maybe they made it unavailable. Lots of things, right? Lots of things. And then you've got 64 homes that were withdrawn unconditionally. So you're looking at about 100 to 190, almost 200 homes that are out there that somebody wanted to sell. That doesn't even include the FSBOs, okay? Of the available properties, 2,128 of them are single-family homes, 599 are condos and townhomes, and then 142 manufactured. We have over 360 homes that are in the million-plus range, which is I don't remember it being that high normally, right? I feel like there's more people in the luxury market that are selling their homes right now. So do not discount those as an opportunity for you. because there's more luxury sellers right now because they think they can get more for their house. Ask a luxury home buyer, what is your make me move dollar amount? What is your make me move list price? Let's try it. If it's gonna sell, it might be now, right? Don't be unrealistic. Make sure that they understand what that means too. The highest amount of inventory right now is between that 250 to 499,999, and that's 1,230. So, with all of that being said, we don't have enough inventory, but it doesn't mean that we're not going to have enough inventory. It doesn't mean that there's not enough sales, because there are surely enough sales happening right now. So get your piece of that pie, okay? Do not freak people out about what's happening. When someone asks you what's going on with the marketplace, the answer is not, we have no inventory. Okay, the answer is, let's talk about what it is that you're looking for, what marketplace are you in, single family, townhome, are you know, what area are you looking in? Let me find that home for you, because you can go door knocking and find that home, and there is somebody, I guarantee you, that has a make me move price that'll match your client's criteria. That's all I got.
Perfect. We are lucky to have Rhonda and Tom. They're both part of the LMT committee, legislative management team, and Bishop. You're on there too?
Don't let anybody on.
I guess we're super lucky then. But no, they read all those bills and they're aware of what's going on, and they're able to keep us up to date on that. So that's good. So we're gonna let Tom out of his misery and bring him up on stage now. Come on up, Tom.
Just take those old records on the shelf.
I'm in Brody.
So here I'm talking. Hey guys, can you hear me? Can you hear me? So the last time I did this, I was doing a comedy tour. It's been a while. Seriously, it's been over a year that I've had to talk to live people. During the course of COVID, everything was on camera. Hi guys at home, really love you, miss you, hope to see you soon, bye. That's true. I mean, it's really strange. You know, you get sort of like afraid of the camera, then you get really used to the camera, and then you come and see all these faces, and it's like instantaneous feedback that I really don't want to hear or see, because I'm like sort of scared the fact that I might be just scaring you and boring you. But so here it is. It's like Ronan said, it's crazy out there. There is no property, but we can't really tell them that. We need to set buyers' expectations, and you've heard Todd talk about his buyer consultation, and explain to them that things just aren't the way that they have been in the past. If they've tried to buy a home before, this is a completely different kind of market. The things that they used to remember or know, like forgetting about comps, forgetting about the appraisal, forgetting about, heck, what the home is really worth and what you think it's worth, right? Forgetting about what their dream price, their dream home. In this market, the goal has to be to get you into a house. We can fix the stuff that's wrong with the house, but if you're going to sit in the sidelines during this period of time, you're missing the boat. You're going to be sitting always on the beach watching that cruise boat sail away on the horizon as you watch all the equity that you could have gained just floating by. So, comps. Comps are a significant thing for a lot of people, but I want you to think of this way. It's a rear view mirror look at what values were, right? And in this market that is so forward facing, if you're specifically focusing on what was, you're never ever going to be able to get your client a house. Let's face it, right? I mean, it was $150,000 last week, now it's $250,000. I don't get it. So stop worrying so much about comps. Stop worrying so much about what you believe the house is worth, right? The truth of the matter is, that house is worth whatever that buyer is willing to pay for it, and that seller is willing to sell for it. Nothing else matters. Not the appraisal, not the terms, not the 90-day lease back for free. None of that stuff matters. Okay, so get over the fact of what you're so used to having to write offers about and just flip the script. And let's talk about flipping the script. Look, if you're writing an offer and aren't putting down as much as possible for the EMD, and I'm talking, when I say much as possible, I'm talking like $20,000, $30,000, $40,000, right? Especially if you're going to go way above appraisal or what you think the house is worth, they're going to come up with that money anyway. So imagine how much more attractive your offer is going to be if you put some really good glue and prove up those funds with a proof of a source of funds with it. So you've got a $30,000, $40,000, maybe $50,000 EMD. I don't care what it is. The crazier, the better, because it's going to stick out, right? If they've got 15 or 10, even 5 offers, and all of a sudden they look at 5,000, 3,000, 8,000, and here's yours at $30,000 with proof of funds, do you think they're going to really take a look at your offer? Damn right. Right? So you have to stick out in this market. Oh, let's see. Let's go to appraisals, right? How do you get a buyer to be able to purchase a home when they don't have the funds to be able to come up with the difference, when you know they're in that wicky-wacky $100,000 to $500,000 price range? A great lender, right? Okay, right? So now, not only do we have prosperity lending to provide you with some of those things that they can do, but don't forget to go to the Bank of M&D, right? The Bank of Mom and Dad. Go back to those sources that are there, that where maybe they can pull a home equity line of credit, whatever it is that they can do to help you if you have those abilities. This period of the market and real estate is, if you're not thinking outside of the box, you're going to lose, all right? And you're going to be one of those thousands of realtors that are trying to figure out whether or not I should stay in this business because you haven't been able to provide the necessary things that make you different than anybody else, all right?
Question online, Tom?
Huh?
Question online?
A question online. Oh, thanks. I knew I loved you guys. What can I do?
Long-time listener, first-time caller.
What do we do about our FHA and the VA buyers?
Yeah, wait for them to buy when the market shifts. And according to what we just heard earlier with looking like stated income loans, thank God for that, right? You know, but people, and I'm going to sort of take a side path here and go down a rabbit hole, probably. Seriously, on the FHA VA, you're sort of screwed right now. But with stated income loans coming possibly, people have asked me when this market's going to change, how long it's going to be like this. I've been on record to say at least through Biden's presidency and probably into 2025, if we start getting more loans that allow more people to purchase homes, holy stuff. Think about it. I mean, more people will be able to buy. We can't build out of this current market. It's impossible to build that many homes that quickly and have them stand for more than 5 years. So it's just not going to go away anytime soon. So even with stated income loans coming into play, seeing the market and everything goes back to the 2007, 2008 period of time, is not going to happen for a long while. That would probably take somewhere close to 2030, right? For that to, see that course come through and have all those people start to default and have it really become an issue. And by then, they'll figure out another way to kick the can down the road. So, maximum pricing. Please, if you're only qualified for $500,000, don't be looking at $500,000 list price homes, because it's going to sell for higher than that. You should be at least 10 to 15% lower so that you have room to go up. Okay? Let's see. Oh, lovely HGT buyers, HGTV buyers. They need to be reprogrammed. They've been sitting here throughout COVID, watching all the great things that happen and how easy it is to buy this lovely house and that lovely house. And they've got no clue of what real life is, because someone was able to fix a house and flip it within 30 minutes. So, you need to seriously make sure that when you meet with them at the very beginning, that you set the table correctly. And all your troubles, if you're having troubles with buyers right now, is because you haven't set the table of expectations from the very get-go. And that's probably the most important thing, and I know Todd's done a great job of trying to explain that to you guys, but seriously, you need to be as blunt as possible. And if you have a buyer that comes with a list, I need these 4 bedrooms, one of them has to be downstairs, and the other 2 have to be on separate sides of the home, and it's got to have a fireplace that goes in between the living room and the kitchen. Just stupid stuff that makes no real sense, reasoning. It's just, a bunch of I would want, I'd like. You need to reset them, and it's up to you to set them at that table. And if they don't make sense at the beginning, holy crap, why are you going to go out and spend hours upon hours trying to find them something that they're not going to be able to buy? Stop it. It's okay to say no. I know it feels really bad on a checkbook, because as soon as you find a client, whether it's a listing or a sale or a buyer, you're all of a sudden looking at the money. They're no longer a person, let's face it, right? They're a dollar sign. And you think you've lost that money. And what you've done by letting them go is that you've made yourself available for the actual dollars that are out there to be able to put into your checkbook. So please, please, please feel the power of being able to say no to those people that are just outlandish. And you know who they are. And I would, if I was to ask, there'd be people that says, yeah, I got one. They're a time waste, they're time suck. I mean, just, it's horrible. I wish I could get rid of them, but I've been with them for so long that if I let them go now, I've lost all the time, effort, and energy. Well, the time, effort, and energy that you've already put into them is already gone. So get over that and get on with finding somebody that really wants to do it. So, what can we do? Since you can't do love letters, because Vaughn has said so.
You can do them, you just can't.
Yeah, well, you can't talk about yourself. Well, they already know that you love the house. That's why you wrote the damn offer. So what the hell?
Well, maybe not.
Right, that's true. All right.
I really don't like your house, but it's only one on the market.
That's a great love letter, right?
Tom said it's okay if I bought a house with less home.
So let's face it. Some sellers are strictly focused on the net dollar, right? That's all they care about. But there are others that need rent back because someone talked them into selling their house and they got nowhere to move, right? So they've got to try to sell their house and then be able to find another place that they hopefully can find and buy within the time frame of them getting kicked out of the house that they just sold that they were just in, right? That's where we're at. So free rent backs. paying for their closing cost, right? Something simple and easy, and it's not that expensive, might make the difference. Shorter inspection periods, flexible closing dates, offering to get rid of their unwanted furniture. I'll just leave it, it's okay. You don't need to worry about having a broom cleaned, just get the out, right? When this deal closes, just get out, okay? 'Cause I need to move in somewhere, all right? And above all, if you're not talking to the listing agent, you're really messing up. Because they're the ones with the keys. You know, they're the keeper of the kingdom, guys and gals. So please, please call the listing agent, talk to them, find out what it is that they really want. Is it the money? Is it the terms? Is it a $20,000 EMD? Whatever it is, offer it, get it, find it, give them what they want so you and your buyer can get what they want. And other than that, enjoy this frustrating, eviscerating, disappointing period of real estate, of working with buyers. And that's it. Oh, by the way, just to make sure that you understand how crazy this whole thing is, there's a new form coming out, which is a market conditions advisory, which basically gives you an out that the buyer and seller understand that the buyer's probably paying way too much money for it, and the seller may feel like they're making a lot of money right now, but in like 3 months when they're looking back and stuff, may have felt that they didn't sell it for a high enough value, and they can't come back at us. So watch for that.
Good job, Tom.
All right, who's depressed?
I was.
All right, the market's not that bad.
It's horrible.
No, it's tough out there, but the ones that are working are selling properties, and they're selling them quick. And listing agents do have the control, so to speak, because when you take a listing, you're almost guaranteed a sale, right? You pick up a buyer, you're guaranteed a sale eventually, but it might be a lot more work. So with that, we're going to bring Todd up to get you guys all excited about the market again.
Thank you. Is this my walk-up song? Nice. We'll have to talk about that, I guess. Hey, good morning. It's still morning, yeah. Tom talks so damn long. Yeah, hold on. Yeah, it's still morning. I'm not in the 40 under 40, although I will tell you I did win that 3 times. 2 of times of which I was over 40. Yeah, I don't understand it either, but I was nominated somehow. No, I didn't even put in an application. It's an automatic fine, I'm sure of that, right? All right, so wait, just give me 1 second. It's been about a year since I've had to wear a shirt, so excuse me.
Oh my God.
No, I'm just kidding. Oh, pant. Well, that's just getting serious and quickly. That escalated very quickly. So let me, really quick, I want to let you know of 2 things. Gotta put my eyeballs back on. Number 1 is in the RPA, they're going to change that in the section that talks about inspections, and they're going to add elevators. Everyone's good with that? Okay, I'm just telling you, they're going to add elevators to that. You don't care? There are a few houses that have elevators, so 3 stories have elevators. Now we'll know who's going to pay for the elevator inspection. Actually, the one I want to tell you about was they're coming out with the, hold on, gosh damn it. The confirmation regarding real estate agent relationship, which we haven't had for a while, but I'm sure this has something to do with Vaughn because she's been upset about it for months. Did you drive it back in? Serious? Well, now the MLS is going to have one, so everybody can use that one as well. All right, so I was going to talk about buyers. Thanks, Tom, for taking that subject away from me. Janet, I was going to talk about some of the stuff but you took that away. It sucks going last, Chris. Sorry. I know what you're talking about. I may talk about it. Yeah, I already got it. No, here's what I want to talk about. I only get 10 minutes. I've been told I talk a little too much, so I'm going to kind of keep this down if I can. Guys, one thing you need to understand about real estate, not just the market that we're in today. Hey, welcome to the meeting. Thanks for coming in.
That's trust agent.
That was Andrew running by the way, in case you couldn't tell. Here's what happens in real estate. This is gonna happen through your entire career. If you've been in it for a while, it's already happened to you a few times. When there is an abundance of buyers, there's never an abundance of listings. That's where we're at today, right? Everybody has a buyer. Is anybody in here not working with a buyer? Like, I think everybody, I got my license 3 days ago, I've got 17 buyers I'm working with, right? That's the market today. But there aren't a lot of listings. It happens the opposite. When there are a ton of listings, right, there aren't any buyers. And so here's what I want to try to help you understand. Today, your focus should not be on buyers. Your focus needs to be on finding listings. Tom just talked about if you have that buyer. I'll tell you a real quick story. Now, it's probably not quick, but I'll get in my 10 minutes. So 18 months ago, I took this couple out. We went to Lake Las Vegas. They wanted to live in Lake Las Vegas. I don't get it. It's like too far away. But that's where they wanted to live. Found this, literally found their dream home. Beautiful house, brand new, never lived in. Bought it for $100,000 less than it was listed for. Because it was the last home in a new tract. They were trying to sell it. We wrote a stupid, ridiculous offer, and they took it. And I was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe they took the offer. I was expecting at least a counter to come back or a rejection. And we get into contract. The buyer and the seller turn in notice to their property management company that they're going to terminate their lease early. And the lease company came back and said, well, you're going to have to pay your lease until it ends, even if you move out. Which we know is somewhat true, right? Who does property management? That's somewhat true, right? Until they can fill the property, they probably could charge them, right? So we're talking about $2,000 a month, and they had about 8 months left. Who can do the math? Thomas? All right, Thomas is a mathematician, by the way. So $16,000, it may cost them 16 grand to move into their dream home in Lake Las Vegas 18 months ago. Guess what they did? I'm like, guys, look, it's not a lot of money. They have a ton of money. It wasn't about the money. 16 grand, it seems uncomfortable to you, I understand, but I'm telling you, you don't want to. Well, we're going to wait until our lease is up next, and by the way, it came up in April. They just signed a new month-to-month lease and paid $500 more a month to have a month-to-month so they didn't get tied into that problem again. So we canceled on their dream home. So we're talking about buying a home now, and they say, what can we do? And I'm like, you can look at the houses that come on the market. We can be the first ones to look at it. You can offer over list. You can guarantee appraisal. You can do all these things. Or you could move to Southern Utah. Or you could move down to Tucson. Her sister lives in Tucson. Why don't you guys look in those two areas and see if there's something down there that you like? She was super excited about Tucson. Her sister lives there. The husband's like, not going to happen. Sorry. We're not going to Tucson. But let's look at Southern Utah. So I call an agent there that I know, put them on a property search. They get a property search. The first house that comes in, she falls in love. They literally get in the car an hour after getting the email and drive to St. George. And they go to the agent that I sent them to and said, hey, we need to see this house. And she's like, I'm booked all day long. I've got buyers all day long. They're like, man, we're in town. We got to see this. We're going to drive by. So she figures out how to get them in. They go out. They fall in love with the house. And this is what the wife tells her when they're writing the offer. It's listed at $659. Yeah, $659. And she says, I've never paid over list for a property in my life. Todd even got us $100,000 off the one in Lake Las Vegas. And so I'm not paying over list. I'll pay $652. So $7 grand, $7,000. Guess what they didn't get? Their dream home. So we're out looking at houses 2 days or three, about a week ago. And Andy walks up to me and says, Todd, I got a really weird proposition for you. And I'm like, oh, I can't wait to hear this one. So Andy says, listen, get a hold of Rebecca up there in Utah. And you tell her to go find the buyer on that house that we were going to buy. And tell them that we'll pay $700,000 for it. We'll pay the buyer who bought the house out from underneath us. No, they didn't buy it from underneath you. You didn't bid high enough. But we'll pay them an extra 50 grand to never move in and give us the house. So Thomas, are you still doing the math? 50, 66,000, right? I mean, to get into the house now that they want, right? So when Tom just said, you've got to get real with people, you've got to tell them the truth, you've got to share with them exactly what the possibilities are. That's extreme. They're willing to pay an extra $66,000 to get into their dream home in southern Utah. It's never going to happen, by the way, because they have as many houses available as we do. So they're not going to take it. They could probably sell it for $100,000 in 6 months. So it's not going to happen. I just want you to understand what's really going on out there. And here's what I will tell you. My 10 minutes up, Janet. Shady, you paying attention?
She's writing notes.
She's going to tell me I went over time and she doesn't even know what time it is.
I'm taking notes,
Oh,
Ron,
all right.
I'm writing it all down.
She has Todd down on the sheet so far.
She wrote my name. Just one D, right? Just one D. Yeah. So listen,
Interesting.
your job right now, look, I know every one of you got in the business to help people, right? How many times have you said that to yourself? I got in this business because I want to help people, because I love people, I want to be around people, right? I've never said any of those things except to you right now. But here's what I want you to know. Your job today is to be real with people, and your other job today is to go find listings. Stop worrying about the buyers. There are too many buyers. That buyer that you've been working with now for 2 years, I got a guy on my team. You watching, Wally? Wally, he might be watching. He's worked with a couple for 2 years. He's got their credit repaired. He's got them at a point where now they can go buy. But guess what? They can't buy. They don't have any I'll pay over appraisal money, all right? So guess what? They need to wait another year. They need to wait whatever that takes. But it's hard because now he's got all this time invested. Like Tom, you just explained the marriage, right? Like if I end it now, I've wasted all this time. It's like working with buyers nowadays, right? So listen, go look for listings. Your job is to go look for listings. Go find listings. Your daily activities need to be based around finding listings. If you're doing any activity that's around looking for a buyer, you're wasting time. And if you want to waste time, that's up to you. But you need to go find listings. Think about the activities that you do on a day-to-day basis. Write them on a piece of paper. And if any of them aren't focused 100% on finding a listing, you need to change that activity. The buyers are going to come right now. Buyers are a dime a dozen. I'm not trying to be insensitive. I know people need to buy homes. But if your buyer doesn't walk in with a proof of funds of 50 or 60 grand cash in the bank, it's going to be difficult to get them into a house, right? I'm not saying impossible, but it's going to be difficult to get them into a home. Please spend your time hardcore looking for listings. It's the way that you're not going to be the one who's trying to make the decision on whether to stay or to go. Listings are what are going to keep you in the business right now. You go find listings. If you don't know how to find listings, like we could talk for a few minutes about how do we find listings? What are some of those activities? If I have time, but I don't, based on his look. So get with your broker. If you want to talk about how to go find listings, what are specific activities that you could do, go talk to your broker. And that's what you should be doing right now. I'm done. Any questions?
It only took 9 minutes, so you're good. Because we're leaving 1 minute for Chris. Hey, before we bring Chris up to wrap up the meeting, next Tuesday, the meeting won't be here, but it will be live at a Simple Affair. If you don't know, Satema Nolly will be in town. He's going to spend from 9 to 11 with us. Satema is a Super Bowl champ with the Patriots, played defense for BYU. He's been a coach and a mentor to myself, Shelly, a bunch of people, actually Tyson, a bunch of people at the company. So it will be a great event. We're doing it in conjunction with YPN, because Tyson's the vice chair. So they got 50 seats, and we have 50 seats. So watch, if you're interested, watch for the email that will go out today with the Eventbrite invitation, and make sure you sign up so that you reserve your spot. Again, it'll be next Tuesday at a Simple Affair from 9 to 11. So, Chris, come on up.
We don't even have time for a song. So Vonda is chomping at the bit about a class that she's got. So she went to my open house class and decided to write one. Think how smart she is compared to me. Tell us about your class.
It's an open house class on Friday at 9 a.m. at the Green Valley office. It is live in person. It will not be Zoomed at all. You have to be there.
Present to win.
Sunny is providing breakfast and headshots, free headshots after. Not the headshots, but like the actual picture.
I,
Oh, RSVP to Persia.
yes, please. It's going to be a great class. And also today, if you're into fun occurrences, Tom and I will be on stage here at 1 o'clock, and it's your issues, our tissues. You've got issues, we've got tissues. That's what it is. Okay, so I have 2 pages worth of notes. I only need about 45 minutes of your time, so hopefully you don't have 11 o'clock. So today is May the 4th, and I'm a Star Wars nut, and so I brought my Real Estate Master Jedi tricks. But none of you are going to hear them because I don't have any time for it. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to go through what your life should look like to be a perfect real estate agent, and then if you want the 31 secrets to master real estate, if you're in the app and you send me a message in the app, I will send you back my 31 secrets. But wait, there's more. Okay, so this is the A through H of Real Estate Master. Are you ready for it? Anyone here have teenage children? No. Teenage children? Okay. Anyone looking for one? I have a 13-year-old. I call this my duh of real estate. This is literally when the teenager looks at you and you go, duh. Do kids still do that? Yes. I did. Okay, so A. Good management of your daily schedule. And say it with me. Yes. Duh. Right? Is it true that as a real estate agent, you should have good management of your day? Yes. And if you control your day in the morning, you'll control the rest of it, and you can rule the world? That's correct. B. Find buyers and sellers every day. Duh. I literally know real estate agents come to the office to look for what? Coffee, exactly. There's food. But really our job is to look for buyers and sellers every day, and based on the sales meetings I just went to, I may not come and look for buyers anymore either, right? Number C, strong lead, letter C. I went to private school, it's okay. Letter C, strong lead follow-up. You say? Duh. No kidding, right? I see people holding open houses right now, and you get them to sign into your book because that's what you prepped for. You go to Vandana's class, you got a great headshot because that got them to the house. And then they sign in, and what do you do with the information? That's right, you shove it in a drawer and never call them again. These are real things that I've seen, folks. Okay, letter D. Okay. Pre-qualify every buyer and seller, and you say? Duh. Why not? Right? Who here has a buyer that will never buy anything? I know who you are. I can see it in your eyes, right? How about that seller? 165 sellers when expired in the hottest sellers market in 30 years. Someone never pre-qualified that seller for their needs, right? What am I on now? F. ABC. No, E comes after D. It literally says F. There is no E on my sheet. I did not write this. F. A great listing presentation. And you said? Amen. You must have a great listing presentation in order to get listings. So if you don't have one, get one. And if you can't get one, steal somebody else's. I said it here first. It's on TV. Literally, there are agents in our company that have the best listing presentations I've ever seen. They're on iPads, they're in paper, skywriting, whatever. Whatever you need, someone will give it to you, I guarantee it. This is A, B, C, D, F. Handle objections. You said? Duh. Do you know there's only 13 objections any individual that you're working with could come up with? And if you knew all 13 before they asked them, could you come up with good answers? Right? I mean, that's how simple that really is. Okay, here's the next one. Good negotiation tactics with your contract. Do I even have to say it anymore? Duh, right? Because the whole idea is that everyone has prepped their entire lives to become a great real estate negotiator. There are shows on that channel just about people that go get their hair done, they go buy their fancy car, and then they do what? They negotiate. That's all that show talks about. But what's it like in real life? You've got an agent on the other side who will never call you back. They will never respond to your text. If you go to their office, it's closed, right? And you wonder why. Last but not least, this one's we should say duh twice. Have closings on a regular basis. Duh. This is extremely simple stuff, but is it what people struggle with? Those facts that I listed there are the dream of every real estate master, because if I'm doing those things on a regular basis, duh, I'm going to have a business that's going to sustain me. That make sense? Am I at least a little bit better than Tom? Duh. Okay. So I'm going to send this to you guys. Again, if you'll just send me a text in the app. Who here is at a sales meeting for their very first time in person? Wow, I do look like this in real life, so that answered your question. Congratulations, guys. We really appreciate having you here. We're excited to be back to in person. I actually tested 80 of our agents, and 78 of them said the one thing they hope for is to get back in person and be together again. So I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to be here with you and Brandon and all of the managers, and I thank you for all you're doing and keep it up. Have a great week.